Well, my name's Rick, and I'm sailing Frog's Leap. Today I'm at Marina Riviera Nayarit in La Cruz de Guanacaste. Yeah. In this episode, we're changing out those traveler lines. Well, initially I was thinking about doing the traveler lines in October, November time frame. But you know, there's going to be a lot going on, people trying to get ready to go, and everybody's got the same idea. So I think the more I can do now, the better. So I'm going to go ahead and swap these lines out. So we're going to do that today. This line, we just clear it from here. So it comes up here, then it comes down here, and it works its way around this square. Yeah. It comes down here to a stopper knot right there. So here's the stopper. So if I loosen that, I should be able to fit there. Okay. So there's the stopper. So I'm going to head over to the local marine hardware store in La Cruz. I'm going to go ahead and get some new lines. I'm going to redo this Traveler. I have to be real deliberate about walking in the shade. I love how right when you walk out of the marina grounds, the town just welcomes you right with this beautiful little park. I got the rope. Now I got to deal with these chickens. And there's a whole constellation of small businesses surrounding the park that are aimed at helping cruisers out of the marina achieve their goals. Well, the weather in Banderas Bay today is being dominated by some thermal action over land. The air over land rises, and this cold air over the ocean comes rushing in to fill its place. And from the La Cruz Marina, it just feels like a real comfortable breeze coming in from offshore. Well, this afternoon, we got some pretty strong thermal winds going on right now. 10 or 12 knots, thinking maybe All right, enough goofing off. Let me see if I can put this Traveler back together. Well, I'm going to start by removing this temporary line that I had in place. Well, it's just a matter of guiding the line through all the blocks. And the end of the line gets anchored to the Traveler itself through this little loop. So this is the piece at the end of the Traveler. There'll be a stopper on one end, and then that stopper hits this, and that's what the Traveler's pulling against when you're pulling the boom to the left or right. This bolt that holds it in was loose. It had no problem coming out, so I need to look at that a little more closely and see just how tightly it's in there. This thing actually was tighter, because see, they don't have 3/8 here. I could get 10 millimeter, which is a little bigger than 3/8, slightly bigger. This thing is really sturdy, and it's got some curvature to it, so it doesn't present a knife edge to your line. So what I'm going to do is put it back on there, use some Loctite, fashion a kind of soft shackle to tie it on there. I'm going to use some of this Thread Locker Blue 242 removable, assuming this stuff is any good either. I mean, this stuff's probably pretty old, but what I have. Definitely need to buy more, but whoa, okay. And it came out blue, so. With the loop reinstalled, I'm putting a double overhand stopper knot in this Traveler line. Here's my super simple light duty soft shackle. Well, my first try worked, but it left a lot of room for improvement. Yeah. So, that's temporary. I just don't want anybody to think that I'm recommending that that's the way you do your Traveler. Just because you see me do it on YouTube doesn't mean that it's the way it should be done, or I think it's the way it should be done, or anything like that. There's just one guy living his life on a sailboat, man. So here you are in Mexico, you can't get 3/8, you get 10 millimeter, runs fine through the blocks, but now this little perfectly tuned little hole becomes a problem. That's too critical of a place terms of controlling your boom to put 550 there in a storm. That sounds crazy. Yeah. I have a bunch of these in baggies around the boat. It's somewhere between an 18 inches and 2 feet. And then you just fold it over and you put an overhand knot in the end. On the other end, you put a lark's head. You put a lark's head. You can see, the harder it gets pulled, that thing is not coming off. I took the stopper knot that I have in the line and I ran it through the lark's head. And then I just used this stopper in that metal loop. It makes this a little long. It doubles the length of the lead. So I installed it that way, but we're not going to keep it that way. We have got one more step to do. We're going to remove these. We're going to do the same thing, but I'm going to build them out of this 6 millimeter Dyneema that I bought over at the marine store here in La Cruz. Well, I bought enough for 4 18-inch lengths, but I'm gonna have to cut them down. Now, I'm using heat here to cut this Dyneema line, and I honestly don't know if there's a right or wrong way to cut Dyneema. So, hey, smoke them if you got them, baby. All right, so here's my 18 inches of Dyneema. Not a big fan of this either. The halyard hitch is just way too bulky and impedes the Traveler car's motion near the bumper. So I tried this option, where I got rid of the Dyneema and just took the double braid straight to the handrail. But the double braid has a tendency to chafe on some fiberglass in this setup. And I made these Brommel splices. So I've got an eye at the end of the piece. So this will make a really good connection to that little loop point. Well, the Brommel splice worked perfectly, but that halyard hitch is still way too bulky. Well, I think I'm going to have to put some small eyes in that double braided nylon. So a low profile connection without a bunch of metal bits, that's the name of the game, baby. So there's the splice here, right, on the 10mm double braid. And there's also this Brummel splice. All right, indeed. That looks 100 times better. Well, it's time to exercise this bad boy. See if I can live with it. Yeah, for now, I think this is going to be just fine. So I'm jumping ahead in time a little bit. You can see I've got this cue ball going on. The humidity is super intense, super high. Just try to stay cool. I need to close the loop on this Traveler story. I did manage to get some 3/8" line. We're going to install this line today and finish this Traveler story. The anchoring of the Traveler, the saga. Well, you can see I've got the canvas from the Dodger removed. I'm probably going to remove the frame as well. Well, it ended up taking a few iterations of experimentation, more than I had planned, but in the end, I got it done right. So yeah, check it out.